Hello, 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 everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to reading time. What up? Howdy, Unlucky, how you doing? Welcome to reading SCPs and Backrooms. Reading articles until time to watch Star Wars. My favorite time. Hi, hello. How are you? Yeah, I'm actually caught up with everything we read last week. Yay, reading, hell yeah. Doing pretty good enjoying the membership, I hope you do. I hope you enjoy the emotes. I am reaching out to the artists to see if they're interested in doing more. And if they are, then we will be adding more emotes. Yippee. More little weeble wobbles in order to use to express yourself with. That song's still playing. Let's give it a different song. But yeah, we are also going to be... Be cool if you can make one that's waving high. Well, Fancy, you mentioned that. Ta-da! Yeah, we got quite a few. Quite a few little emotes already. For the most part, thanks to Freddy for being very generous. I didn't even notice that one. Fair enough. If the artist is up to doing more work, then I can literally get as many emotes as I want. I'm willing to pay to get the slots. Like, I'm sure YouTube won't be mad at me giving them money. Have one that's like parachuting? What would that be? What would that express? Like, the two that I've got in my brain immediately are a bed, like sleeping, and a lurk. What would parachute express? Or one that looks sad? We have a sad. Ali cry. Hi, hello, hi, Jam, at Jam Doriente. Hello, Jam Doriente. How are you? Excitement. Well, we got Yay and Happy. I don't know. This conversation doesn't really matter until the artist confirms whether or not they're actually willing to make any more anyway. So, it kind of doesn't even matter. Because if they don't want to, then that's it. I'll need to find another artist. Anyway. Got like 2 hours until Star Wars time, so get these articles read. Still pretty happy with the emotes. I'm glad you enjoy them. I also like the emotes. Alrighty. Well. Let's get looking, shall we? So, first off, we have Critter Profile Sampson, followed by Danger Incinideer. This is the actual image. I don't know why it's gone. Let me reload the page. It didn't load again. There we go. And level 79, Ghosts in the Machine. SCP-1245. Level 95, rather. SCP-7517. Level 77. That'll be the 7 things we read this evening. As Guardians, they make one that's giving a thumbs up. That's another good one. That is another good choice. Alrighty. What music's playing? Ah, the Pizzeria Simulator. Anyway. Let's actually start.
Now, we're doing WWS, Wilson's Wildlife Solutions, so this is the voice that I chose for reading the generic articles. Like the name, Sampson. Species, Canis familiaris, Doberman Pinscher, pictured at left. Like that?
Yeah.
So that's what I will be reading like. Alright, I'm gonna do some quick warm-ups.
Let's get started.
Critter profile. Critter profile. Sampson. Overview. Name, Sampson. Species, Canis familiaris. Doberman Pinscher. Pictured at left. Primary caretaker, terrestrial team, Daniel Stanford. Diet, dog food. Any brand will do. And he really likes it when you put a slice of turkey on top. Housed, Wilson's Wildlife Center. Enclosure 3. Creature features. Sampson is our name for the strange Doberman we found terrorizing livestock over in Bull Run. He was most likely some sort of guard dog to begin with, and then either got out or was let out. We don't really know where or what he was guarding, but since we found him in Bull Run, I'd say it's pretty safe to assume that it's somewhere in Oregon. How he got out is still up for debate, but I'm willing to bet that he took advantage of a forgetful caretaker. As for the strange part, Sampson is probably one of the more interesting fauna we've encountered. When you try and look at Sampson, he appears all blurry, almost like you're looking at him through frosted glass. He also appears blurry in photos, which is a real pain for old Philip. Poor guy can't take any clear photos of Sampson for his critter profile. We honestly don't have an answer for why this is, but Dr. May, Boring's resident vet and our liaison to the supervisors, told us it was some sort of temporal displacement. We don't quite know what that means, but if anything, it makes Sampson more unique. That's not the only strange thing about Sampson, though. When he barks, it comes out much louder than it should. I mean, even the ground shakes. When we first went to pick him up, he barked at us and almost shook my fillings out. Well, it probably wasn't that severe, but it was loud nonetheless. Both of his strange abilities seem random when apart, but together they make perfect sense. He's hard to see and his bark disoriented anyone He's hard to see and his bark disoriented anyone near enough to hear it, which makes him the perfect guard dog. History. As we mentioned up above, we found Sampson over in Bull Run. He was wandering in the countryside, barking at anyone who got near. We got word of him when he started terrorizing some cows on Marybeth's farm. Those cows must have really ticked him off, because when we got there, he was barking up a storm. We almost found a nice parking spot in a ditch due to all the shaking. When we got to the farm, Daniel managed to get him into the van using some beef jerky. We brought our questions up with May, and she asked her supervisors, who told us that Sampson was most likely guarding something for some group called MC&D. There's some sort of club for rich folk that sells those strange things the supervisors are always after. Things like Sampson, I guess. That rich folk club might have even made Sampson strange, but I can't even begin to think of how they did so. I don't think I would want to think about how they did it, to be honest. Anyhow, after we got Sampson back to the wildlife center, he absolutely refused to leave the kennel in the van. We only managed to get him into an enclosure by using half of Laura's turkey sandwich. Daniel led him right into there, and Sampson gobbled that sandwich up like he was starving. He might have been, for all we know. It was hard to check with Sampson being out of focus and all. That could also be why he's so difficult to see, so you can't tell if he's hurt and whatnot. He wasn't hurt as far as we could tell, so that's good. Sampson also seems to have taken a liking to Daniel. It might be because of that turkey sandwich that he gave to Sampson. Or it could be because he gave him that beef jerky. Whatever the reason, Daniel has volunteered to be Sampson's primary caretaker, which I have no problem whatsoever with. As long as the animals are happy, I'm happy. Special needs and accommodations. We've got Sampson in enclosure 3 for now, and he seems to be enjoying it so far. We would like to put him with some other canines, but with how aggressive he's been towards everyone but Daniel, we're afraid that he might injure them in defense. That seems pretty cruel on our part, but we don't want to injure any animals if we can help it. He doesn't seem to mind being on his own so far, but he'll have to learn to be more friendly at some point. He's also got his very own doggy pool now, and let me tell you, he loves to play in that thing. We can barely get him out of it. Notes about Sampson.
1 second. Sorry about that phone call. Also, hello, Freddy. Hello, DJ Knight. How you doing? All right. Let's get back into it.
Notes about Sampson. On July 10th, 2018, we got reports of several lost dog posters appearing around town. They all include a blurry picture of what appears to be Sampson, and they also call him by the name Daniel gave him, which is Sampson. They were put up by a man named Jonathan Stanford, who claimed to be Daniel's brother, which is strange considering that Daniel doesn't have any brothers. We told May, and she told us that the supervisors would look into it. The whole thing has Daniel a little shaken up. I tried talking to him about it, but he wouldn't say a word. Poor guy.
Oh my god. Anomalous kidnapping. Or I guess dognapping in this case. Also, thank you, Freddy, for the membership. Enjoy the emotes. I'm looking into seeing if the artist is interested in doing more. Good morning, we love a good critter corner. Yeah, we do. How you doing, Dew on the Grass? Over in Twitch chat? All right. I want that baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. Ribs. All right, this deer is on fire. Oh, dear. Oh my god. It's Alonzo de la Cruz. And Tim Wilson. Mr. Wilson. Mr. Anderson. All right. Chili's baby back ribs. Chili's baby back ribs. Barbecue sauce. This deer is on fire. Alrighty. This is gonna be hell. There'll be hell to pay. Alright, let's do it.
I gotta swallow my voice again. All right. Danger. Incinideer. Hello, I'm an Incinideer. You will recognize me by my very similar appearance to my cousin, the red deer, and my burning fire antlers. Don't worry, it doesn't hurt me, but you should be careful near me and my fire anyway. I love my family very much, and it saddens me to be away from them, so I invited them to stay with me here in my new home in the Green Amazon. It's a huge forest in Brazil, full of creatures and plants of all kinds, including special ones like us. My family is everything to me, which means strangers make me nervous when they get too close to us. So please, keep your distance, especially if you have flammable items on you. That would be dangerous for everyone in the forest. We are well aware of how dangerous our fire is, and even if we can't control the fire on our heads, we always do our best to avoid burning things, so we tend to stay in the valleys. If an accident happens, we cover the flame with dirt as fast as we can, and wait for the firefighters. Precautions and facts about me. Precautions and facts about me. I find it hard to distinguish between yellow and orange. But wearing those colors won't make you invisible to my eyes. I can tell what's in your picnic basket almost a kilometer away, so don't take your eyes off your food. My ears are very good at hearing sounds strange to the forest, so we know if you visit us. We scare easily and are protective of our families, so don't visit us. Did you know that the intensity of our fire reflects our emotions? The brighter it burns, the happier we are. The smaller it smolders, the sadder we are. Young bucks like to party together. Sometimes we form a fire and we jump around it for hours. Biofuels are delicacies to us. Our fire gives energy to our heart, not the other way around. Don't let our flame die out. Important reminders.
The hunting of Zervis Ignis, Incinideer, as well as that of any other creature with an abnormality, is strictly prohibited. Hunters, as well as individuals possessing goods derived from the hunting of this species, risk losing all their privileges as citizens of an anomalous community if they possess if they possess them. The domestication of this animal has been considered non-viable and dangerous, and will be penalized with the revocation of aforementioned privileges. Exposing the existence of this creature to the public eye will result in the loss of privileges and relocation of the offenders to Facility 17. Footnote. Anomalous Criminal Containment Facility 17, specially constructed to house humanoid anomalies that lose their privileges as members of anomalous communities. Authorized by the SCP Foundation pursuant to the 2007 Treaty on Free Anomalous Communities, TFAC. Alonso de la Cruz, Protection of Anomalous Animals, SCP Foundation.
For inquiries or complaints, address AV Heliconia, Pueblo Salto del Amazonas. Footnote. Anomalous community under the TFAC accessible through roads in the Amazon waterfalls. Telephone, +55 2913 5931. Email, info@solucionesdelwilson.latam. Wilson's Wildlife Solutions. Soluciones del Wilson Latam.
From Alonso de la Cruz to Tim Wilson. Date 27th of October 2007. Wilson, I'm contacting you to let you know that I've reviewed your proposal. I'm afraid we're going to have to deny it. These creatures cannot remain free in the Amazon. It is true that since you arrived, the number of fires caused by these animals have been drastically reduced. But we have begun to notice that they have started to lose their fear of humans in recent years. The other day we were informed of one with his nose stuck in a garbage dump in Manaus. The civilians thought it was burning, and the poor guy ended up dying from the water they threw at him. That time we were lucky, and we were able to take advantage of the situation to declare his cause of death as garbage poisoning. But this hasn't been fun for a long time, Wilson. People and animals endanger each other. We're going to have to cancel this project. I want all Incinideer in captivity as soon as possible. Yours, Alonso de la Cruz.
From Tim Wilson to Alonso de la Cruz. Date 6th of November 2007. Mr. de la Cruz, we did what you asked, but ran into a problem. The boys and I were having some coffee and cookies after we finished loading some families from the sleepers into the trucks, when suddenly, Aborigines. They arrived mounted on animals like three-legged blue jaguars and pointed their arrows at me and the kids. All we could do was raise our hands and hope for the best. One of them, one with very long hair and mounted on the biggest blue jaguar of the bunch, approached me and began to say a lot of things I didn't understand. Then he took my coffee and they took the Incinideers from the truck. It all happened so fast, my heart still feels like it's about to beat out of my chest. I just hope they're not gonna get hurt. Those critters are innocent. Hoping for the best. Tim Wilson.
From Alonso de la Cruz to Tim Wilson. Date 7th of November 2007. Mr. Wilson, Aborigines mounted on Incinideer have attacked one of our reconnaissance teams in the Amazon rainforest with fire arrows. It's not the first time something like this has happened, and it certainly won't be the last. It is said that the biggest nexus of anomalous activity in the world is in the United States, but they are wrong. It's only the most popular. Of all the world, this region has some of the largest and most diversely anomalous forests and landscapes that exist. This region has some of the largest and most diversely anomalous forests and landscapes that exist. And you're going to tell me that there are almost no anomalies here? It's full, overflowing, suffocating. But we lack the resources and power of your American supervisors. Wilson's Wildlife Solutions has established itself very strongly in North America and Japan. It seems to me that it is time to stop the small experiments and settle in Latin America. Animals in this part of the world need you, Wilson. I await your response. Alonzo de la Cruz. From Tim Wilson to Alonzo de la Cruz. Date 9th of November, 2007. Mr. de la Cruz, this month in Brazil has been a roller coaster of emotions. As a child, I always listened to my teachers talk about the incredible variety of animals that existed in the Amazon. I wonder if you have imagined that it would also apply to the anomalous. The indomitable mono elephants, the imposing Incinideer, those fascinating metal caterpillars that turn into small tanks when they feel threatened, and now these big jaguars? My team and I are fascinated and can't wait to see more. Call me when you're ready to discuss the details. Our family expands into Latin America. Still unpacking? Tim Wilson. We're going to the Amazon, boys. Baseball. Isn't there like some anomalous... Oh no, I'm thinking Shadowrun. I was like, isn't there like some anomalous country in the Amazon? No, I'm thinking fucking Shadowrun. When there's like an elf country in the Amazon or something. I think the Incinideer are very cute. But that's just me. Oh, stretch to the left. Stretch to the right. Stretch the back. Oh. Pop the rib cage. That's good. All right. A creature named Event, and it kind of looks like a velociraptor with a turtle. Shut up, phone. I know it's 7:15. Like shell-covered head to tail with red spikes and is pitch black in coloration with red glowing eyes and red spikes and 4 wasp-like wings. What the hell? That's crazy. Sounds like an evil Koopa. I look kind of like Bowser. All right. Level 79. Ghosts in the Machine. Warning. If you are viewing this file due to recently entering this level, turn back immediately. Staying within level 79 for prolonged periods of time may learn... Staying within level 79 for prolonged periods of time may lead to spatial and/or temporal temporal displacement. Extreme caution is advised. Survival difficulty. Survival difficulty. Class: Dead Zone. Temporal instability. Inconsistent exit. Unknown potential for entities. Description: Level 79 consists of 7 rooms of seemingly intelligent design. Footnote: the rooms are arranged in a logical manner, with specific designated purposes, which diverge from a main corridor, measuring approximately 370 square meters. Footnote: approximately 4,000 square feet. The level is reminiscent of and contains various equipment associated with... medical research clinics of the mid-20th century. The space shows numerous signs of previous human occupation, and it is theorized that the level itself could be the result of direct human planning and/or construction. Pertinent information on each of the rooms can be found in the tabs below. Room number 1, R. The first room on the right side of the main corridor. Footnote. Labeled as R. Appears to have been used as an office space. In addition to a wall-bound shelving unit, the area contains a desk and several filing cabinets. These items are haphazardly arranged in a storage closet and suffer from severe fire damage. One of the walls of the room contains a large black chalkboard. The following statement is written on the board in yellow chalk. The experiments were only somewhat successful. Don't stay here long. We're going to move to phase 2 anyway. I'll meet you then. Dr. Zahn. Room number 2, L. The second room, located on the left side of the main corridor. Footnote, labeled as L. Was used as a storage room for various medical and scientific items. Below is a list of notable pieces of equipment found within the room. Cardiopulmonary monitor. Footnote, a machine that tracks a patient's heart and breathing rates. Kidney dialysis machine. Footnote, used to filter blood in a process known as hemodialysis. Sonograph. Footnote, a machine used to take ultrasound images of a patient's internals. ECG machine. Footnote, device used to create electrocardiograms, a recording of a heart's electrical activity through multiple cardiac cycles. Mechanical ventilator. Footnote, a machine that assists in breathing for patients incapable of doing so autonomously. Fixed angle centrifuge. Footnote, used in the fractionation process of various substances. In addition to standard medical equipment, 4 machines of unknown purpose were discovered. These devices, while not fully understood, appear significantly more advanced than the other equipment found within the room. Entrance and exit. Wait. Room number 3, R. This area is designed as a standard medical examination room. Found within many of the cabinets and drawers found throughout the room are medical instruments typically associated with locations of this nature. On the right side, embedded in the wall, is a large machine of unknown function. This contraption has corrugated hoses, intravenous lines, and electrical wires held within the lower compartment. Stored in the locked cabinet on the left side of the room are various medications, as well as other mundane and anomalous substances. The known compounds include, but are not limited to, almond water, pethidine, footnote, a synthetic opioid pain medication, azathiopryne, used as an immunosuppressant for the prevention of organ rejection after a transplant, lysergic acid, diethylamide, footnote, a powerful psychedelic compound, doxorubicin, footnote, typically used in the treatment of numerous types of cancer. It interferes with cell growth by affecting the DNA. Seer powder, scopolamine, footnote, an antimuscarinic drug used to treat motion sickness and other conditions. Melatonin-laced multicolored melatonin-laced multicolored lollipops. Room number 4, L. Room number 4 contains a mid-century X-ray machine with the equipment and adornments associated with radiology. On the rear wall is a large negatoscope, commonly known as an X-ray illuminator, where a single X-ray film remained, on which was a radiograph of a heavily disfigured human arm. Footnote. Deviations included greatly exaggerated lengths of the humerus, radius, and ulna. Several foreign metallic objects were also present. Estimates based on analysis of the hand bones place the individual's approximate age between 6 and 10 years. Room number 5, R. A small room with 6 twin-size mattresses arranged on metal wire. A small room with 6 twin-size mattresses arranged on metal wire bed frames. The 2 dressers within the room contained the following items upon their initial discovery. The 2 dressers within the room contained the following items upon their initial discovery. 6 pairs of plain gray shirts and trousers, size youth small. A red rubber handball. 3 crayons, black. 14 blank sheets of lined paper. Room number 6, L. The 6th room is an empty operating theater with a significant buildup of viscera and other unidentified fluids. Metal shavings, screws, and various other small, non-organic objects were observed within the slurry. Analysis revealed the presence of the DNA of 6 separate individuals. Room number 7, C. The final room at the end of the corridor contains a single machine of undetermined composition and function. Though their purpose is unknown, the forward face of the machine has a total of 16 clocks, each displaying a different time. Footnote. Multiple clocks do not follow the standard 12 or 24-hour format. Both first-hand accounts of the level claimed the machine made an electrically distorted sound, similar to sobbing. Approximately every 30 minutes, the machine would emit a loud knocking sound, followed by a tremor felt throughout the level. The observers would then experience a sensation comparable to no clipping. A substance identical to the substance found within room number 6 was observed, slowly leaking from the left side of the machine. Entrance and exit. Level 79 has only one known entrance and exit located at the beginning of the main corridor, the location of which is theorized to be able to appear as any door within any level, across an unknown period of time. Footnote. See Exploration Log Submission Module. Submission Log. Explorer. Mikaru Akimoto. Date of entrance. April 10th, 2021. Date of exit. April 10th, 2023. Time within level. 3 hours. Explorer. Mallory Gray. Date of entrance. August 23rd, 2024. Date of exit. July 23rd, 1992. Time within level. 9.5 hours. 9.5 hours. Oh my god. The room you get stuck in time. Bro, that's crazy. Alright. That's set 1 done. Prepping for set 2. AKA the last 4 articles we're doing. Or at the very least, the next 4. If we have more time, Maybe I'll read another article or two. I'm going to 8 at least. 8:30 at latest. Is the time room. Let's do the time warp again. He's a hero and smart enough to know human language. Wow. Like the 3D printer spiders all over again. I'm sorry, I have a bad mouth and it doesn't work well. These items are haphazardly arranged in a storage closet and suffer from severe fire damage. See, when I'm not trying to actually read it properly, I have no problem reading. When I try and read it properly, like... These items are haphazardly arranged in a storage closet and suffer from severe fire damage. Hey, I did it that time. Look at me, learning how to read. Oh my god. It's kind of funny. Yeah. Well, well. Well. Now, cut the softness of hot meat. Harpoon, well. Repair of the hull. Deprive their bodies of thought and life. Blue, gray, cachalot, red, and repair of the hull. The knives are to do their important jobs. Harpoon, hook, cut, whale, give, now. Oh, hey, there's an incident log as well. Ooh. We'll have to do that as well. This is actually something we just referenced with Trunco. This is the ship they sent after the Asmodeus. Got a lurk here. Enjoy the lurk, Freddy. I have no bots over on Twitch. I assume you're streaming. And if so, enjoy your stream, my dude. Let me clear my throat. Alrighty. Let's get to work. Whaling ship. Item number. SCP-1245. Object class. Euclid. Special containment procedures. Mobile Task Force Zeta-4, Ahab's antagonists, are currently tracking SCP-1245's movements aboard the Foundation ship SCPS Archimedes. The Archimedes is disguised as a destroyer from the U.S. Navy, allegedly pursuing illegal whalers. Local naval officials are to be informed of the presence of illegal whalers in the area, and reroute commercial and private traffic accordingly. SCP-1245 is currently located at Site-412, an abandoned harbor located in blank. The harbor's entrance has been blocked by stone, preventing escape. SCP-1245 is to remain anchored to the harbor bed at all. SCP-1245 is to remain anchored to the harbor bed at all times. Chains and anchors are to be inspected every week for signs of damage and repaired accordingly. Foundation ship SCPS Archimedes is to patrol the harbor's entrance at all times and deter unauthorized craft under the pretense of naval training exercises. Description: SCP-1245 is a blank model factory whaling ship, approximately 120 meters in length. Nameplates and numbers are missing and are believed to have been removed prior to acquisition. SCP-1245 appears to be autonomous. It has been seen pursuing whales and incapacitating them via cannon-mounted harpoons. See observation log 1245-blank for video footage. Before dragging them into SCP-1245, no crew members have been observed anywhere inside SCP-1245. SCP-1245 has been observed hunting and processing a wide SCP-1245 has been observed hunting and processing a wide variety of cetaceans, including stock, not usually hunted by whalers. Unusual specimens gathered by SCP-1245 include dolphins, family Delphinidae, orca whales, Orcinus orca, beaked whales, family Ziphidae, and narwhals and belugas, family Monodontidae. The majority of SCP-1245's internal structure is taken up by a central slaughterhouse, where whale carcasses are dissected and their parts sorted for future use. SCP-1245 uses tissue obtained from whale carcasses to maintain its structure and build new additions to its hull. It is estimated that roughly 65% of SCP-1220 It is estimated that roughly 65% of SCP-1245's current mass is made up of whale components. Exploration teams have documented several rooms and decks constructed entirely of whale meat. Several of these appear to be significantly altered from their original specifications. These include automated assembly lines built from ligaments and muscles, an onboard crane composed from vertebrae and ribs, a secondary rudder composed of baleen and bone, a secondary rudder composed of baleen and bone, and a communications deck with several intact whale brains connected to a central radio. Rotting or decaying parts are replaced with new components as new whale specimens are acquired and processed. Material is moved throughout the ship via a series of tubes composed from steel pipes and intestines. Significantly, the ship's engine has been heavily modified to burn whale oil and spermaceti, making the ship largely self-sufficient. The corpses of several infant whales in various stages of decomposition adorn the prow of SCP-1245. These are believed to be trophies, collected during assaults on whale pods. SCP-1245 first came to the Foundation's attention on blank, after several ghost ship sightings occurred off the coast of southern Australia, followed by a marked decline in local cetacean populations. Mobile Task Force Zeta-4 Ahab's antagonists are currently tracking SCP-1245's movements. Revised. See Incident Log 1245-043 for more information pertaining to containment revision. On blank, SCP-1245 was successfully lured. SCP-1245 was successfully lured into Blank Harbor by playing a pre-recorded whale song, and restrained by Mobile Task Force Zeta-4 in Operation Baleen. See Incident Log 1245. See Incident Log 1245-44 for full details and casualty report. Blank Harbor was subsequently secured and renovated by Foundation staff, and was rechristened Site-412. Addendum 1245. On blank, Archivist Blank discovered that the whaling ship Southern Star, a whaling ship of the same model as SCP-1245, disappeared and was deemed sunk in 1940. Addendum 1245-2. On blank, SCP-1245 transmitted a message in Morse code to staff at Site-412. Grammar, spelling, and punctuation remain identical. Whale, whale, now cut the softness of hot meat. Harpoon, whale, whale, whale. Repair of the hull. Deprive their bodies of thought and life. Blue-gray cachalot right repair of the hull. The knives are to do their important jobs. Harpoon, hook, cut. Whale, 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 give. Now, now, now. Now, now, now. This message was repeated 27 times before SCP-12. This message was repeated 27 times before SCP-1245 ceased transmission. As of blank, SCP-1245 has not released any further messages, and does not respond to any and does not respond to any messages sent by the Foundation. Incident Log 1245-43. Incident Report 1245-43. SCP involved. SCP-1245. Date: June 7th, 2011. Location: Northern Alaska. Coordinates blank. Preamble. MTF Zeta-4 had been monitoring SCP-1245's movements for 6 months prior to the incident. Under previous containment procedures, operatives were dispatched to nearby coastal towns to warn local government officials about illegal whaling activity, and to temporarily shut down nearby shipping lanes, as SCP-1245 entered and left the area. Here, however, SCP-1245 was assaulted by members of blank, a vigilante anti-whaling group who had bypassed quarantine in an attempt to put a stop to what was perceived as illegal whaling. 2:03 p.m. The Archimedes is contacted by a vigilante group calling itself blank, asking if the crew of the Archimedes requires assistance in prosecuting illegal whaling. Crew aboard the Archimedes respond in the negative and order their ship turned around immediately. Blank responds in the negative and terminates radio contact. 2:32 p.m. Archimedes attempts to intercept the boat. Zeta-4 attempts to raise radio contact and issues a final warning to turn back under pain of arrest. This radio message is also ignored. The Vigilante's boat manages to bypass the Archimedes and proceeds to make contact with SCP-1245. Archimedes moves towards the Vigilante's boat's position. Archimedes moves towards the Vigilante boat's position and prepares to administer amnestics to all individuals aboard the ship. (2:45 p.m.) It is believed that the Vigilante boat made visual contact with SCP-1245 at this time. SCP-1245 is tracked moving at approximately 15 knots. 2:53 p.m. The Archimedes arrives alongside SCP-1245 and the Vigilante's boat. Apparently undeterred by its appearance, the Vigilante boat begins a non-lethal assault on SCP-1245. With two high-pressure water cannons mounted on the hull of their ship. SCP-1245 does not react and continues moving in a southeasterly direction. 2:55 p.m. The Vigilante boat moves closer to SCP-1245, approximately 20 meters away from SCP-1245, and continues attacking SCP-1245. Protesters hurl several flash grenades onto SCP-1245's deck, to no apparent effect. SCP-1245 begins to decrease in speed and sounds its horn. 2:56 p.m. SCP-1245 turns and begins moving towards the Vigilante boat, increasing speed as it does so. SCP-1245 begins a counterattack by launching several harpoons at the crew from recessed ports in its hull. The harpoons lodge themselves in the ship's hull and impede the movement of the Vigilante ship. The Vigilante ship attempts escape, but fails, damaging its outermost hull in the process. SCP-1245 then vomits liquid from its prow, breaching its hull. Footnote: liquid is believed to be hydrochloric acid obtained from whale stomachs. Liquid is believed to be hydrochloric acid obtained from whale stomachs. 2:58 p.m. The Archimedes launches two dinghies in an attempt to rescue personnel aboard the ship. 12 members of the crew are rescued before SCP-1245 rams the ship, destroying it. MDF Member 4, blank, was lost during the rescue operation and is presumed dead. SCP-1245 drags the wreckage of the ship onto its deck before resuming its original course, ignoring the Archimedes. 3:15 p.m. Crew members are brought aboard the Archimedes and administered amnestics before being returned to the local harbor. 3:59 p.m. Crew member blank, while monitoring SCP-1245 from afar, notes that SCP-1245 appears to slow down and dump several tons of metal overboard before resuming its course. We cannot allow another incident such as this. More stringent containment measures are to be implemented within the month. Dr. Blank. Well, hey, they tried. They failed, but they tried, right? And I can respect that. Alrighty. Next, the boat got angry. Angry boat. That is true. And then it ate them. You ever get eaten by a boat? Because I have. It didn't really float my boat, if you know what I mean. Alrighty. Next. Level 95. The Underneath. Survival difficulty. Class undetermined. Mysterious properties. Unknown information. Undocumented entities. Survival difficulty. Class undetermined. I don't know if I said that earlier. Level 95 is the 90. Level 95 is the Level 95 is the 96th level of the Backrooms. It consists of a series of corridors with bizarre architecture, arched passages, and a fluctuating amount of lighting. Description: with walls comprised mostly of bricks and stone. Level 95 is a series of interconnected corridors that stretch from small to enormous distances. Traversing through the level is no easy task, as the bizarre architecture present all throughout it poses a significant obstacle to many. Furthermore, not all corridors are supplied with a natural source of light. Some corridors are completely devoid of any lighting, thus making any exploration extremely arduous. Windows are almost always present in every wall of the level, even if what appears to be behind the wall is nothing but another corridor. These windows are also the main source of natural lighting, although it is still unknown what exactly emits it. Looking outside of these windows shows nothing but an empty, presumably endless white void. It is unknown if these windows are instances of Entity 2, as no figure can be seen from the other side, and no reports of attacks on Wanderers have yet been documented. Given that the corridors are mostly empty, sounds easily echo throughout them and reach really far distances. This makes it extremely easy to detect any life form from afar, should they be emitting any form of noise. It should be noted, however, that this also makes Wanderers highly susceptible to being spotted by an entity. So minimal noise should be made when walking through the level, especially if in groups or in the vicinity of a nearby entity. Sometimes, some noises can be heard from the other side of the walls, even if there is no probable source for them nearby. These include, most commonly, scratching on walls, footsteps, whispers, debris falling, and humming. It should also be cognizant that these sounds do not appear to have any physical source. But one should always be on alert if they experience any but one should always be on alert if they experience any of the aforementioned sounds. It is not known what really lies behind some of these walls. The entirety of the level appears to be mostly devoid of any valuable resources, although sometimes and seemingly out of nowhere, one can find a wooden box of almond water bottles, hidden behind short walls or wooden barricades. These have been proven to be safe for consumption, but are very hard to find. Rarely, a corridor can lead to a staircase. These staircases lead to what is called the underneath, the floor below main level 95, which has not been thoroughly documented for a series of reasons. The underneath is the ground below the main level, a floor that is completely devoid of any lighting and requires an artificial light source to be explored. Not much is known about this area, as exploration parties go missing after a few days, and without any notice or contact, even when equipped with speakers to act as distress beacons. Footnote: not once has the unique sound of these special speakers been heard by the overseeing parties. Not once has the unique sound of these special speakers been heard by the overseeing parties, which has led them to believe that something happened to the exploring parties before they were able to activate the distress signals. The noises heard on the floor above can also be heard in the underneath, but here they are much more amplified and clear. Laughter can sometimes be heard from afar. However, most wanderers who experienced it simply ran away out of fear, retreating back to the upper zone of the level, so it is unknown where it is being emitted from. It is thought that this area has an extremely high entity count, which could help justify the missing parties. The pitch black would help many entities to hide and ambush any unsuspecting wanderers, slaughtering them on the spot and leaving them no chance to warn anyone quickly enough. Microphones and cameras do not work in the underneath. Microphones will either emit static or obnoxiously loud noises, which can be deafening for a small period of time. Cameras will simply record a still, black image, with nothing to be seen. Any file details for captured imagery are simply corrupted. Traversing the lower area of level 95 is not recommended at any cost. No one knows for sure what happens down there, and death is guaranteed. Entities. The amount of entities in the upper part of the level is presumably very low, but any wanderer is likely to encounter at least one entity before they find the exit. Populating the upper areas of the level, and thus far documented, are dullers and clumps. No other entities have yet been spotted or documented. On the other side, in the lower area of the level, the underneath, the presence of entities is thought to be at least 80 times higher than that of the upper area. Footnote: based on the ratio between encounters on the first floor of the level and its deaths, and the deaths on the floor below. However, no official document, survey, or exploration has proven the existence of such. It is worth keeping in mind that all explorations have ended up in the loss of the exploration party, which can only suggest that the presence of dangerous entities is highly likely. Even so, various unofficial documents have pointed to the existence or observation of Smilers, Weatherzers, Skin Stealers, and Hounds. Bases, outposts, and communities. Given the nature of this level, establishing any sort of outpost does not yield any favorable outcomes for those involved. Instead, attempting to create any form of base is both extremely time-consuming and vastly resource-wasting. Even so, some very small outposts owned by the MEG can be found near the aforementioned staircases, either to guide wanderers to a safer location, or to explore the underneath. If in need of resources or medical assistance, these outposts could provide quick help. Do keep in mind, however, that resources in level 95 are extremely scarce, so help is not always guaranteed. Entrances and exits. Entrances. To enter level 95, enter an empty cellar in level 11, or find a broken brick wall in level 9. To exit level 95, one must travel far away enough. One must travel far away enough from the point they initially started from. Upon reaching an unknown distance far away from the said point, some of the walls will possess a door that can be opened. If entered through, it will lead wanderers to level 44. Don't get lost in the New York Underground, man. There's some guy down there that spliced his DNA with some super predator, and he'll smell you out and he'll eat you. And the question is, do I add these to this same recording, or do I start another set? Is that actually how I pronounce Gweatherzers? I don't know. That's just how that's just how it looks to me. See if that has pronunciation. Doesn't seem to have one. That's how it looks to me. Gweatherzers. I don't know. How you doing, Pooh Master? Is there even a canonical pronunciation? Well, I assume the person that originally wrote the article has some idea of how it's pronounced, but I don't know. That's my pronunciation. So I like how I turned Keter into Keter. Or Keter. Sorry, I was stretching. More Gweathers there. Alright, I'm going to start another set, actually. I gave it a really complex name and decided not to give it a canonical pronunciation. Really, the Lovecraft approach. Because that just straight up looks like that's just an elder god. Like, someone was channeling their shadow over Innsmouth. Made a new creature called a skybiter. There's a type of anomaly like, looks like a toy foam airplane. Males usually have orange speckles as females are plain blue, and these creatures like the name. They bite? Suggests skybiters are incredibly violent and aggressive, usually flying in large flocks. They're part of an April Fool's series. Ah. It's given to some spider. I don't know, spiders are... Wait. Skin Stealer. You know, I don't think I've actually ever read the Skin Stealer. I need to do that at some point. That's a pretty standard. I don't know, that's a freaky spider. Oh. Well, anyway. Hello, everyone. Hello, cool kid with 2 Ds. How are you? I'm gonna take a quick drink, and we're moving on. I got about 30 minutes, so let's get to work. I'm fine, that's good to hear. I'm glad. You? I'm having a pretty good day. Alright. It's a good site. SCP-7, SCP-7517. Level 1, Unrestricted. Containment Class, Thaumiel. Secondary Class, Apollyon. Disruption Class, Amida. Risk Class, Critical. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-7517 is to be kept in an active state, per standard operating procedures. Footnote. If in doubt of what classifies as standard operating procedures, consult Document 7517 Fremont. At least 10 members of ATF-28, Limbo, are to remain in the control room at all times. In order to ensure standard operations and prevent in order to ensure standard observations, in order to ensure standard operations, and prevent any acts of sabotage. Employees attempting sabotage are to be apprehended until their employment contract is terminated. Impromptu repairs have been authorized in order to ensure standard operations, including in the cases that would require the temporary removal of floor panels, hydroponic vegetation containers, metal tables, or pieces of wiring. Such repairs are only authorized provided they do not interfere with Such repairs are only authorized provided they do not interfere with Site-28 standard operations. As of June 11, 2032, no members of ATF-28 are authorized to leave Site-28 under any circumstances. Attempts at doing so will result in the rapid termination of employment contract. Leaving the site is, in the current circumstances, defined as venturing beyond Site-28's parameter. All personnel of Site-28 are considered members of ATF-28. Description: SCP-7517 is the Mark SCP-7517 is the Mark 7 Scranton Reality Anchor, an ontokinetic eigenweapon designed to completely neutralize all human fluctuations, ontokinetic effects, and ontokinesis-based anomalies in a radius of 300 meters. Oh. As of the 6th of November. There we go, that goes earlier. Its construction was started on the 28th of January, 2028, by the Department of Ontokinetics in Site-28. Footnote. A site housing a variety of ontokinetic anomalies, containing a network of Mark 5 Scranton reality anchors surrounding its facilities. And finished on the 6th of November 2032. The specifics of its operations are currently classified. Contextual materials. Contextual material. It has come to my attention that there have been some reservations regarding SRA Mark 7 from my colleagues. These mainly concern its status as the most powerful Scranton reality anchor in the world. Studies in pocket dimensions have proven what has long been theorized. Reality follows the law of conservation of energy. An increase in Hume level of a given environment will always result in some object in it increasing its Hume level, thus becoming less real. In a similar way, an individual skilled in ontokinesis will find themselves become more real as they manipulate the world around them. This would, in theory, mean that a sufficiently strong reality anchor would decrease the universal Hume level with potentially catastrophic consequences. I would like to remind everyone that the activation of Mark 7 will not result in such an event. According to near a million simulations, we have a 98.35% chance of successful activation, with little to no risk to the world at large. After all, It has the potential to fully eliminate the threat posed by ontokinetic anomalies. Forever. Director, Place H. MCD. PhD. Project Lead. Esoteric Polymath. SCP-7517 Incident Log. The following is the complete list of all incidents involving SCP-7517 since its activation. Defined as any intentional actions against SCP-17. Defined as any intentional actions against SCP-7517's and Site-28's standard operations. All involved in them have had their employment contracts terminated. Incident 7517-A. Date: 6th of November, 2023. Employees involved: Michael Stanway, Elizabeth Hills, Amos Hussein. Description: following the activation of SCP-7517, containment engineer Michael Stanway would make his way out of the site, intending to go on a smoke break. He returned to the site minutes later in a highly agitated state, yelling at members of personnel around him and causing great distress to all present. This led the ontokinetics researcher Elizabeth Hills and security officer Amos Hussein to both exit Site-28. Michael Stanway then made his way into the control room, likely intending to shut down SCP-7517's operations. He was unable to activate SCP-7517's emergency shutdown protocol before being apprehended by other site personnel and handed over to the security team. His employment contract was terminated 2 weeks later. Actions undertaken. ATF-28 was founded by Site-28 supervisor, along with the institution of a total prohibition on exiting the site by ATF-28 members. Incident 7517-B. Date: 2nd of January, 2023. Employees involved: Justin Smith. Description: At circa 2350, Justin Smith entered SCP-7517's control room, publicly insulting nearby personnel and behaving erratically. Smith continued this activity despite repeated calls from his colleagues to stop. His employment was terminated shortly afterwards. Actions undertaken. In order to prevent similar disturbances to Site-28 standard operation, in order to prevent similar disturbances to Site-28's standard operations, 10 members of ATF-28 have been permanently stationed in SCP-7517's control room. Containment procedures have been updated accordingly. Incident 7517 Gamma. Date: 17th of August, 2033. Employees involved: Elena Bouchard. Description: On the morning of the 17th of August, 2033, multiple hallways of Site-28 have been vandalized using black marker, with the phrases such as, "Why are we still doing this? At least give us the sky back. At least give us the sky back. Why did you do this? And I know you will see this," written across the walls. 2 windows were also found to have been broken from the inside. Security camera footage revealed janitor Elena Bouchard to have been the culprit. Due to the actions undertaken shortly following the incident, termination of employment has been deemed unnecessary. Actions undertaken. All windows and outside entrances in Site-28 have been covered, painted over, sealed, or otherwise hidden as to boost employee morale. Weekly psychological checks have been added to the site's standard operations. Incident 7517 Delta. Date: 1st of January, 2034. Employees involved: Justin Cohen, 23 others. Description: Following the New Year's celebration, a group of intoxicated employees, led by containment specialist Justin Cohen, attempted to break into SCP-7517's control room. The personnel stationed inside were able to block the door long enough for the site's security team to be alerted. As the group broke in, a brief fight ensued, leading to multiple employees becoming injured and incapacitated. By the time the rogue employees reached the control panel, the security team was able to intervene. All 24 had their employment contracts subsequently terminated. Actions undertaken. In order to prevent such incidents, all employees working at Site-28. Footnote. Aside from the control room crew, have been amnesticized, with the memories of the last 2 years removed. New guidelines for all members of personnel have been detailed in Document 7517 Fremont. Input psychologist credentials. Welcome. Employee name and position. Marin Forley, Site-28 Culinary Specialist. Marin Forley. Overall psychological rating, 8.4 out of 10. Overview. Subject demonstrates willingness to perform their assigned tasks and loyalty to Site-28's official mission. Shows no awareness of the current state of affairs outside the site. Has displayed moderate nostalgia for her life before joining ATF-28. Employees self-evaluation.
Of course I am satisfied with my position. I wouldn't have signed up in the first place if I wasn't, would I? It's important work we are doing here. You're staying here to keep those on the outside safe, while I stay with you to keep you fed and sane. Sure, I wouldn't mind seeing some trees from time to time, but... well, it's not like we're here forever, is it? I don't know why the rest are so concerned about it. We'll only be here for a few years before our contracts expire. Or so I heard.
Recommendations. NA. Employee name and position. Carl Anderson, Site-28 Electrical Engineer. Overall psychological rating, 6.6 out of 10. Overview. Subject demonstrates moderate mental and physical exhaustion, as well as suspicion regarding the current purpose and situation of both Site-28 and SCP-7517. Despite this, subject displays loyalty to the Foundation. Employee self-evaluation. Man, I know, I heard the whole shtick. Per standard operations, Foundation personnel who are not members of ATF-28 are not allowed to access Site-28. Whatever. But every time another breaker blows out or a door locks itself, I have to haul my ass into the basement in hopes I'll find anything that could help. More often than not, I don't. The site is on its last legs, and I'm tired of taking care of it like it's a child. I better send us some equipment real fast. Unbelievable. Recommendation. Subject is to be given a low daily dose of sedative medication, currently available in the Site-28 pharmacy. This treatment is to continue as long as there are enough resources available. Employee name and position. Anna Ellsworth, Site-28 Hydrophonic Specialist. Overall psychological rating, 4.6 out of 10. Overview. Subject demonstrates notable emotional exhaustion, a decrease in loyalty of the Foundation. No indication of suspicion regarding Site-28's operations or the current state of affairs outside of the site. Employee self-evaluation.
I couldn't stop crying last night. Not after Section B failed. 3 years. All gone because the fucker couldn't fix the lights fast enough. The water's getting worse, too. They said we'll have enough supplies to last. You said we'll have enough supplies to last. But we're dependent on the farms now, and they're dying one by one. My team... they're working hard. But even if there was 100 of us, we can't just keep those running forever. I don't know how we'll manage with decreased rations. We're already all hungry.
Recommendation. The subject is to undergo targeted amnesticization regarding the most recent equipment failures. Following this, she is to be given a moderate dose of sedatives, as well as a low dose of appetite suppressants. Both available at the Site-28 pharmacy. Employee name and position. Ludwig Klein, control room crew member. Overall psychological rating, 3 out of 10. Overview. Subject demonstrates severe emotional exhaustion and suicidal ideation. Employee self-evaluation. You know, there was this relief at the start. We're the lucky ones. I don't believe that anymore. We are the unlucky ones. No, calm down, Doctor. I'm not trying to pull a plug on this shithole, not yet. It's just the way I see it. There are only 2 paths forward. You amnesticize me into the oblivion, or you blank. Whatever you choose, we both know it doesn't matter. Not like we'll have more than a couple years after that. Recommendation. Recommendation. Due to the subject's duty as a member of the control room crew, both the request for amnesticization and termination of employment contract have been denied. All members of the control room crew have been notified about the subject's ongoing struggles and advised to intervene if necessary. Employee name and position. Galen Hernandez, Site-28, Containment Specialist. Overall psychological rating, 1 out of 10. Overview. Subject is aware of the current state of affairs outside of Site-28. Employee's self-evaluation. Oh, don't you fucking dare turn that recorder off, Gary! I have been to the parking lot. I've seen what's out there. How long are we going to keep this circus going, really? Till we run out of food? Till we all run out of food? Out of water? Why have we turned off that beast? I don't care if it doesn't bring everything back. Even joining the rest of this forsaken world is better than where we're at now. And if that doesn't work, just pull the plug out on this party already. Or just tell people. Tell them what's out there. Actually, fuck that. I'll tell them. Recommendation. In A. Subject's employment contract has been terminated shortly following the evaluation. I think they accidentally made the world less real. I think they accidentally ended the world. Oops. Yep. Oops. They derealized the world. All right, that's it. Unreal's your reality. Casual SCP. This was a fun one. A lot of times post-apocalyptic SCPs are, like, a little annoying, but this one was fun. Also, hello, Sabitsuki, how you doing? Howdy. All right. Well, I got 14 minutes before I want to take a break. So, let's wrap this up. Oh, Shenandoah. All right. Level 77. Oh, Shenandoah. Survival difficulty. Class 3. Unsafe. Secure. Entity infestation. Description. Footnote. Father is quite beside himself with me. I cannot blame him. This morning, the fences I was tasked with mending were collapsed, and a good number of his flock has wandered off into the thicket behind the manor. He's ordered me after them. I shan't disappoint him again. Samuel. April 23rd, 1845. Level 77 consists of a 25-kilometer... Level 77 consists of a 25-kilometer squared expanse of steep, undulating hills and valleys. This area is surrounded by a dense deciduous forest that, due to its nature, is of undetermined dimensions. Footnote. I must have wandered too far through the thicket. I find myself in unknown fields, nary a soul in sight to help guide me. I fear Father was right in scolding me all those times for my listlessness. I passed a dying lamb near the edge of the woods. It was stuck in some type of web, the likes of which I have never seen. No spider in these parts is capable of such a feat. I put the babe out of its misery, though it wounded me to do so. Samuel, April 23rd, 1845. These hills vary in elevation from less than a meter to nearly 80 meters, with median being approximately 25 meters in height. Stuck in a bisected diurnal cycle, the central area of level 77 remains in constant daylight, while the surrounding forest appears nightbound. Footnote. I have been gone for nearly a day, and yet the sun has not moved in the sky. I grow tired. I know Father will not forgive me if I return home without his flock. I will sleep in the fields, though the heavens seem to forbid it. May rest bring some sort of clarity to this madness. Samuel, April 23rd, 1845. These hills harbor abundant flora, with the most common being a variant of zoysia grass, although various bluegrass and mosses can also be found. These plants exist in a near constant state and consistently uniform state of growth. This abnormal growth has been theorized to be a side effect of level 77's diurnal cycle, loamy soil, and unique atmospheric conditions. Though not exclusively through these means. Footnote. Glorious day! It seems my worries had been for naught. Father's flock has returned to me in my slumber. 2 scores still remain. This brings a relief I am not used to knowing. Aside from the lamb, only 4 sheep have lost their way. I hope to find them on our journey back. Samuel, April 24th, 1845. Level 77 experiences one consistent atmospheric condition, fog. This consists of a dense mist of mainly water, with trace amounts of known and unknown sediments. These clouds vary in density, with the highest concentration existing within the valleys and crevices between hills. Exploration is ill-advised without a clear way of determining direction. Footnote. The hills are not kind on those searching for the way back. Persistent fog lays over these lands, making the way even less clear. Father's flock, however, seems to be in high spirits. Samuel, April 24th, 1845. 1 second. Need to stretch my arms. For some reason, my elbows are really starting to hurt. I'm old, man. All right. Due to its nature, an unsubstantial amount of information is known about the deciduous forest bordering level 77. An unsubstantial amount of information is known about the deciduous forest bordering level 77. A thriving colony of Weitherzer makes exploration increasingly difficult. Entities. Level 77 has only 2 non-native, long-term inhabitants. Weitherzer. The Weitherzer supercolony located on level 77 is one of the largest recorded continuous infestations of the species. Their area is split into numerous clusters and subclusters that act as a network of interconnected, yet distinct subcolonies. This allows for the presence of multiple queens within the same territory, substantially strengthening their growth rate. Of note, the size of the Weitherzer within level 77 is of particular concern, with most members of the species reaching 60 to 65 centimeters, far beyond their normal parameters. Queen sightings, though rare, have reported sizes nearing 152 to 200 centimeters. Theories on why these specimens reach this size are varied and unsubstantiated. But it is estimated that more than 2 million Weitherzer live within level 77. Despite their proximity, no Weitherzer have ever been seen in the central area of the level, with the highest concentration being found within 1 kilometer of the border. It is estimated that 95% of unaligned travelers do not survive their territory. Footnote. I fear I will not be able to return home. What form of devilish trickery keeps us here, I will not feign understanding. The flock wishes to return to the fields. I do not slight them for it. These woods bear a bad omen. I hope Father finds solace in the fact that I will hinder him no longer. Though the sheep, I am sure, he will miss. Samuel, June 12, 1845. Shenandoah sheep. The Shenandoah sheep are a unique species of ovis, native only to level 77. Since their initial introduction to the level nearly 50 years ago, the sheep have adapted to the area's unique conditions. This comes in the form of two major distinctions from similar species. An abnormally long lifespan, typically living to 20 to 25 years, nearly double the average for the genus. In instances of sheep being removed from the level, this lifespan is reduced to 15 to 20 years in adults, and 9 to 12 years in lambs. A unique method of hydration, in which a specialized organelle in the lungs will store and slowly absorb the water particles in the fog. This is a necessary adaptation due to the lack of standing fresh water within the level. It is unknown whether or not the Shenandoah sheep have always had these attributes, or if they are a byproduct of their habitation of level 77 itself. Though the exact number is a closely guarded secret, it is estimated that the level contains nearly 15,000. It is estimated that the level contains nearly 15,000 sheep. BNTG and the Murphy estate. Level 77, known to members of the BNTG as the Sheep Hole. The Sheep Hole is the group's primary source of wool, lanolin, and mutton. It also acts as a substantial resource of milk, tallow, and leather. This is facilitated through an agreement reached between the BNTG and the only permanent human presence on level 77, the Murphy estate. Footnote: I met with a most strange man today. Though that bore no bearing on my elation at seeing another soul here. He wore a cloth that I have not seen before and spoke, though in the king's tongue, in a peculiar manner. He seemed slightly amused by my initial confusion about our current situation. He took great interest in my flock. He promised to return with goods for trade. Perhaps I have inherited father's proclivity for good business. One can only hope. Samuel, May 7th, 1848. The connection between these two groups was strengthened by the marriage of the estate's founder and an executive within the BNTG. Established approximately 50 years ago by its progenitor, Samuel Murphy, the estate is now in the capable hands of his son, Jacob Murphy. Though the composition and inner workings of the Murphy estate are unknown, it is rumored that Jacob has a large family that helps maintain the population of Shenandoah sheep. Due to the details of their initial agreement and the value of the resources within Level 77, the BNTG is highly secretive with information regarding the level and their obviously established trade route through it. Entrances and exits. Aside from the BNTG-controlled trade routes, Level 77 has several confirmed cases of travelers entering through various levels, including but not limited to Level 32, Level 48, Level 249, and Level 415. In all instances, travelers were walking through heavily forested sections of these levels when the transition seamlessly occurred. It is theorized that any heavily forested area could potentially lead into Level 77. Regardless of origin, all entrances to the level occur within the forest, approximately 4 kilometers from the border of the central area. Exiting the level is achieved through similar means as entering, though occurring much more sporadically. When walking through the surrounding forest, at any distance greater than 6 kilometers, a traveler will have a 65% chance to no-clip through the detritus and into any level containing a heavily forested area. I find myself wistful in my old age, though life has given no reason for such thoughts. Our flock is plenty, and my homestead is quite lavish by my standards. Success blesses me as my continued relations with BNTG have left me wantless. These hills provide all that our flock needs. I don't fear for their safety when I am gone. My dear son Jacob has promised me to not overcull our flock and to keep watch over their numbers. My pride in him knows no bounds. It dawned on me, after all these years, we failed to name our homestead. So here and now, in my final hours, we call these hills New Shenandoah. I only hope Father would be proud, though I now know his selfishness would never make that possible. Samuel Murphy, February 15th, 1895. That was fun. I like that level. I like the going back and forth with the journal article. Also, another indication of the wibbly wobbly, timely wimely nature of the Backrooms. On account of Samuel got here in 1845 and immediately made contact with the BNTG. That'd be 50 years ago. So, 1970. The 15,000 sheep. Yeah. Well, to make a readable article about my creatures after the research is back and forth? Yeah, go for it. I always support creative endeavors. Anyway, we have the watch-along stream scheduled for half an hour. So I am going to end this here, so I can get that set up. We'll be watching another 4 episodes of Star Wars Clone Wars tonight, with good old Brianna 25. So look forward to that. I'm probably going to have to do more reading pretty soon. So, maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Who knows? For now, however, thank you all for hanging out. I hope you had a good time because I certainly did. Y'all have a good night. I'll see you all later.